Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the following problem from Mathcounts 2021. And we have a view of the problem, so let's get a quick read. Suppose there's an 80% chance of rain each day. On days that it rains, Kathy has a 45% chance of being late, compared to 30% chance when it does not rain. And the question is, on any random day, what is the probability that Kathy is late? Okay, so let's start with the fact that whether it rains or it doesn't rain, right? So 80% of the time it rains, right? So we could say instead of 80 over 100, so 4/5 chance on any given day it rains. And that means that 1/5 it does not rain. Okay, so we start there. 4/5 of the days it's going to rain and 1/5 of the time it won't. And now we have two options. If it rains, then she has a 45% chance of being late. But if it doesn't rain, she has a 30% chance. So with this type of question, we can actually make something like a tree diagram because you kind of just have to keep track of your cases, right? So if this is just our day, so say it rains and say there's no rain. Now if it rains, she can either be late or she could be on time. And then if there's no rain, she can again either be late or on time. Now, on these lines are branches, if you say, we're going to write the probabilities of that happening. So we already found 4/5 is the probability that it actually rains. That means you have 1/5 probability it doesn't rain. Now, if it rains, then they tell you there's a 45% chance of being late. So 45 over 100, we could just write that as 9 over 20. 9 over 20 is the probability that she is late given it rains. And now on time, that means it must be 11 over 20 because we know this must add up to 1, right? She's either late or she's on time. There's no third option. Now, if it doesn't rain, they tell you there's a 30% chance that she is late. So that is 3 over 10. And again, that means 1 minus 3/10. 7 over 10 is the probability that she's on time. Because again, this must add up to 1. So now, if we read the question, we're asked to find what is the probability Kathy is late. Kathy is late means we have to look at either this case or this case. So if we look at the first one, say it rains, so the probability of rain and late, this is just equal to the probability it rains, which is 4/5, multiplied by the probability that she's late given it rains. So that's 9 over 20. And this we can just write as 9 over 25. Okay, so 9 over 25 is the probability that it rains and she's late. Now, if we look at the probability that there is no rain, but she's still late, this is just, so no rain is probability 1/5. And then the probability that she's late, given there's no rain, is 3/10 right here. So multiply this by 3/10 and you get 3 over 50. And so we want to find the sum of these two events. These are two events that could happen. These are the two possible ways she could be late. So we just want to find the sum of these, which is 9 over 25 plus 3 over 50. And this isn't too bad to do. If we just use a common denominator of 50, we get 18 plus 3. So that's 21 over 50. And if we just read the question, make sure we're answering what they're asking. They say the probability that Kathy is late. And again, we go back to read the question because, say, for example, the question asked us to find our answer in terms of a decimal or a percentage. Then we would write our answer in a slightly different form. But because they don't specify, we could just write 21 over 50. Or equivalently, if you like decimals, you could write that as 0.42. Either of these answers would have worked, but that should be all for this question. And so the key here was just making sure you're organized and you understand that you have to multiply your probabilities. For example, if we look at the probability it rains and it's late, We want to multiply those two probabilities, the 4/5 and the 9/20, because we want both to happen, right? You want rain and she has to be late. So in probability, if you have an and, that signifies multiplication. And now when you add, you might ask. So we added here because we wanted the probability that it rains and she's late, or the probability that there's no rain and she's late. So when you see an or, you add, right? So that's the key with probability. When you want two things both to happen, you want to multiply their probabilities. And if you want either of the two things to happen, then you just want to add them together. But the point is, you should get your answer of 21/50 or 0.42, and that will be our final answer. So if you have any questions on how we got to this answer, be sure to leave a comment. And if you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, please leave a like or subscribe. It really helps us out. And I will be back again tomorrow with another problem. Thanks to everyone for joining.